Hi, good afternoon, Gayatri ma'am. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. How are you today?
I'm doing really great, Ashutosh. Thank you so much for having me again. How are you? How are you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking me too. So I'm enjoying my day.
Great to hear that. So, what's my
Okay.
plan? What's the plan for today?
Yes, actually, we want to have a wonderful conversation. We want to talk about some interesting questions the people always have, and they want to know that how they can improve their English. So we would be discussing on a question which is very important, and most of the people they asked me in the comments of my videos. So I want you to answer this. So that is going to help them for sure. So we would be talking about mainly that would be strategies for fluent English conversation, because what I feel conversation is very important. We need to communicate with the people. That's what the goal of the language, right? So today we will be talking about the strategies that how somebody can become fluent in English conversations. So what are your strategies for it and how people can work on them? So please.
Great. Thank you so much for asking this question. So, let me briefly introduce myself first, very briefly
Mhm.
for the new
Sure.
audience which are there, who are there on the channel. So, my name is Gayatri Sharma. I'm from west part of UP, NCR, and I've done my master's in English literature. At the same time, I have been a trainer for 3.5 years, right? 3.5 years. So, what are
Mhm.
my strategies? Ashutosh, even yesterday when we had a session, in our previous session, I discussed that I come from Hindi medium background. So the
Right.
language, the particular English language has been my journey. And all the ways and experiments and methods I have used for my personal growth
Mhm.
as a language person, as a language expert, right? I would love to guide people through it. I would love to tell them. Yeah. So can you ask me the question again? This was my introduction. We can go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The question I would remind you again that was
Mhm.
strategies for fluent English conversation. So, people want
Great.
to become fluent while doing English conversations. What are the strategies you have for them?
Great. So let's go for first. What is my
Mhm.
strategy? How I do with my learners? Be very clear. First
Mhm.
strategy. Before you move in anything, you must know why are you moving in something. When you want to be fluent in English, your question is fluent, like strategy for fluent conversation in English. So I want to make people understand that have the clear goal. I want to speak
Mhm.
good English to my colleagues. I want to have good conversation in politics. I want to guide my children through anything, right?
Mhm.
I'm a school principal and I have to deal with parents every single day. I have to deal with their doubts. So I want to have good conversation with them. So first, be very clear about your goal. First strategy.
Mhm.
Before you get into anything, just be clear, right? Second, I remember a quote of Swami Vivekananda where he
Mhm.
said, when you want to do something, pick that thought, live with it, eat with it, sleep with it, walk with it, right? Do not leave it. So when
Right.
you say, I want to be fluent in English, you have to pick this thought, you have to be determined, and then you have to immerse yourself in the language. What do I mean when I say immerse in the language? So see, we have been living our language, like especially our mother tongues, Hindi, Gujarati, Malayali, Telugu, any, like India is a big country and we have more than 200 languages, 22 constitutional languages, right? So when
Mhm.
you are fluent in your language, like I am fluent in Hindi, not technically, but I can hold conversation in Hindi. That means I have been living the language since my childhood. Every single one
Right.
around me speaks in English, and I think you agree with the fact, right? That everyone speaks in
Why not?
Hindi. Yeah, so we are so
Mhm.
fluent. So when we decide that we want to learn English as a language, why do we have target like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months? Why? Right? You have to
Mhm.
immerse yourself completely in the language. You have to live the language. This is my first strategy. Be very clear, have the clear goal, and immerse yourself. Start even dreaming in English. Start yourself,
Mm.
like visualize yourself as a public speaker after 10 years and see yourself on a big stage and talking about your life, but in English. Second,
Mhm.
right? The third strategy I'll go for, have a clear path. I have come across a lot of learners, Ashutosh. You will also, I will also love to hear experience or your experience over here. What happens that people are so directionless. They don't know their
Yes,
level,
they
right?
are.
They don't know, right? They have very notion, ma'am, I want to be a native speaker, right? They come to you like this, but then Ashutosh, they must be very clear. They must be very clear with the fact that what is their level. Are they even able to speak baby English? What do I mean baby English? Like when we learn our mother tongue, we learn mama, papa, bhai, sister, like this, right? Behan, something like that. But when you want to learn English language, you directly want to be a native speaker. You have to learn basically first start introducing your day-to-day life. Like I wake up early in the morning, I go to work, I go for a walk, I even take my pet along with me, I play with him, then after walk we come home. Very basic English, right? So assist your level and then design a particular curriculum or roadmap. You cannot aimlessly walk in something. Right. So when
Right.
I was in my 12th standard, I had a very clear goal that I want to score 90 marks in my English subject. So that goal was there with me. And then I started strategizing my learning plan, my study plan, that this is what I have to cover every single day. So what learners should be doing, they must decide that this is my goal and then start picking one thing at a time. First, basic, then vocabulary, then pronunciation, then public speaking, then confident. Everything comes along with it when you start working
Exactly.
strategically, right? So, what's your thought on in this? What's your thought?
Exactly. It's wonderful to have a clear idea and clear goal about it. And always, as you said about the visualization, that is very important. Even though when I was learning language, as I told you previously, that I used to speak in front of the mirror and I would visualize that I'm a wonderful speaker, waving my hand for some time, and people are waiting for my speech. So that is very important. Visualize, but start from the baby steps. You are visualizing that a long term goal, but you're not going to be a native speaker in a day. One day you can speak like a native speaker, that's a different thing, but that day is not going to be tomorrow. You need to work really hard for it. But you are right, people don't have a actually clear idea about the language, and they never ever compare their own language journey with the second language of them. Okay, what they think, okay, as I want to speak English in 2 months, but you have been learning Hindi for 20 years, 25 years, and you're not able to become perfect at this moment. How can you expect the same thing from another language which you don't even know very well, and you're not living in that surrounding? So people have this mindset, but they need to change and they need to work strictly on it. That it takes time and you need to be patient enough to get that result. But I'm sure, I'm optimistic that you will become better. You can speak better English than a native speaker, I can say. But you need to work really hard for that. And you need to be consistent for years and years.
I truly stand your idea. What happens when we start our own mother tongue? It takes us 3 to 4 years to comprehend with even that, right? So
Exactly.
the people around us, our parents, our family, our surroundings, they start doing like, beta mama bolo, beta papa, something like that, like they go for pa, pa. They don't go for directly say papa. Right. So I
Yes.
think we people forget it. I have come across many learners and they come up with very different and very unrealistic expectations to me. They are like, ma'am, I want to clear my interview in just 15 days or 1 month. And the person is not even able to introduce himself. He is not even able to say that my name is, Ashutosh, and I'm from this place. I have done this in my graduation. So the formation and the frame of the sentences, the basic frame is not even clear. So I believe that people should even put the unrealistic expectations aside and they should have proper designed plan for it, right? So this is my third
Right.
strategy. Plan your strategy, plan your learning process, right? The fourth strategy of mine would be that I come across, I'm a public trainer. I train people. I keep talking to people, and they are like, ma'am, I don't have time to learn language. I don't have time to speak. No, you cannot do that. You have time to eat. You have time to be with your family. You have time to entertain yourself. You have time to go and watch movies and listen to songs and whatnot. But when it is your language, and this is something which can open thousands of doors in front of you of opportunities and connecting with the world and talking to people. Why can't you be strict for the language? So my
Mhm.
fourth strategy would be that be very strict and commit to the process. Commit to it. You
Right.
cannot go for that. Sometimes I read English, sometimes I listen to videos or watch videos, and sometimes I listen to some. No, your mind should function in a way that 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. I will sit and I will read. Like you can divide that 1 hour. If you have 1 hour, divide that into multiple pieces and go for 20 minutes for reading, 20 minutes for watching something on YouTube, and 20 minutes for active practice. So it's really
Right.
important that you actively also practice, right? Important that you consume the content and then you reuse the content. No matter you watch thousands videos on YouTube, you will not be able to speak until you speak yourself. So have a proper quality consumption, not quantity consumption. People get confused. Ma'am, I watch 5 hours videos. Ma'am, I read 5 hours or 10 hours. But then what do you read? Is it something which interests you? It is something which aligns with your goal. If it's not, then drop it then and there and read something which exactly helps you. Okay, fourth strategy, that when I say that plan everything and practice with consistency. Now, a lot of people come to me and they say, Ma'am, can I read Shashi Tharoor? What is this? You cannot reach 30 crore. People have to have that understanding, right? So set a target time every single day because your brain takes time to get programmed. And once it is programmed, that 11 to 12 is for my spoken English. I will try my best to give this 1 hour. That indicates your brain to stick to the process. Because when you are not
Right.
committed to the time, you are not committed to the particular slot of your day, you just randomly practice and then you keep wasting your months, hours, years, and days, and then later you regret, oh my god, I have not been able to do anything. So this is my fourth strategy, that stick to the process and commit to the time, a 1 hour slot of your day. Yeah. So anything else I can you want to add on?
Yeah, whatever you said is absolutely right. And all these, actually, we need to be, actually, motivation is something different and discipline is completely different. But sometimes people are motivated that they want to speak like Shashi Tharoor, they want to give a speech like Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, but they don't think about discipline. They are motivated but not disciplined because we watch a lot of motivational videos in our journey, right? But motivation is completely different from discipline. When you just see the video, you get the motivation, but you don't want to do that consistently for 10 years. Okay, if you whatever you are listening to the personalities, some public speakers, they have been practicing it for 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years, not for 10 or 15 days, right? The people we see on the stage and they are quite popular as a public speaker, they are not the people who started learning English 2 months ago. Okay, but people think like that they can do it in 1 month and 2 months, and people ask the same question to me, and I say, if I'm not able to do that in 5 years, how can I teach you that in 15 days? Is it possible? Not at all. And I'm giving my whole time for it because I'm trying to make my career out of it. I'm making videos, I'm talking to people all the time. And you are thinking that by talking to me for 15 minutes, you can become perfect in 1 month. How is it possible? Not at all. So people don't want to accept the reality due to some myth also in the market, like a strategy, marketing strategies, because they see the advertisements and all those things that they can make you perfect in 30 days and 60 days. When they go to them, they are pretty disappointed. They think like, oh my god. But whoever is telling the reality, they do not go to them because they know, oh my, it's a lengthy process. He's saying 5 years. Oh, who's gonna give 5 years for English only? I can't think about it. So that's what they think. But when they go to someone for 30 days and 60 days and 21 days, and then they attend the sessions, and then they understand that I am not made for it and I cannot do it in my life. So that's what the reality is. The people do not go to someone who is telling the reality because it looks the process looks very long for them. But somebody who's telling you that they are going to make you perfect in 7 days, people think, yeah, let's go to them. When they go to them, they feel like, yeah, I can't do it at all. So
True, true, true. I really appreciate when you say that it's really important to show people reality, Ashutosh. People have set very unrealistic expectations. And the reason behind is their instant gratification. They want
Mhm,
instant gratification. They want very quick result. This is not possible. When we were in our 12th, 11th, 10th, we
mhm.
had that very clear mindset that it is going to take my 1 year to get into next standard. But when you
Yes.
want to reach, you are here and you want to be here in English, how can you expect to be here in just 2 months? It's a
Mhm,
process, it's a journey, right? So, my next step would be to strategize your journey, work on your fundamentals. Very important. People directly think that, oh, can I, frame advanced sentences that had I been there yesterday, I would have changed everything or something like that. It's really important to work. And then people have very, strong argument here. Ma'am, I have been learning grammar since my childhood in my school. But was there anyone who was, able to make you use that grammar? And that particular
mhm.
grammar, that academic grammar, is totally different from your spoken English, right? There are
Right.
few topics which I have mastered as a spoken, like as a spoken person when I was learning the English language. What I did, I mastered only few concepts like tenses, passive voice, conditional sentences, modal verbs, and basic prepositions. Right. So these are the five topics I mastered, and they helped me speak 80% of my language, and still they help me. It's really important to work on your foundation. You cannot build a building on very weak foundation, right? So you have to work on your foundation. This is my next strategy. And now, how to build your foundation on YouTube? There are a lot of videos like translations, like मैं जा रही हूँ, I am going, मैं आ रही हूँ, I am coming. See, these are very fixed expressions. But when you learn the technicality behind how the continuous tense works in our life, then you will be able
Mhm.
to frame your real life events on this word. But what happens that
Right.
I have learned translations, I have learned 10 sentences, but I don't know how to frame my real life sentences. Right? If these
Exactly.
10 sentences are not in my real life, how will I use? Why will I waste my time for translation, right? I will rather go
Mhm.
for learn the concept and try to use in my real life. This is right. This is my next strategy that work on your fundamentals. Be very strict and work on your fundamentals. So this is my next strategy. I would really like to hear your opinion over here. What do you think? And what do you think about English grammar, by the way?
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to English grammar, I feel it's a very important thing for the language, any language in the world. But at the same time, you cannot say like you can master the grammar, then you can start speaking English. That day is never ever going to come. You cannot master English grammar. It's very technical, a lot of exceptions, and many things are there. But you need to go through it, as you said, like main topics. And spoken grammar is completely different from written grammar. Whatever we studied, that was for writing mainly, not for speaking. And as you said, right, even though I learned tenses and all those things, but I only learned the three fixed tenses, that Sita जा रही है, राम खा रहा है, राम बाजार जाता है, or just मैं खाना खाता हूँ. So all these tenses were fixed, three examples in every single tense. Okay, so that is not going to help you. You said it right. Try to make different, actually, tenses or like sentences in English. Try to have like think like, I am looking at the light, I'm just going outside. Just think about it, what you're doing in your real life. You're sitting in a room, just try to make some sentences looking around, that my window is open and I'm watching at the clock at this moment, it is going to be 3 o'clock, something like that. So when you will do it, that is going to help you. Not only just you will go through your old notebook and again you are revising the same, that Ram Bajar jata hai, मैं खाना खाता हूँ, or just all these things. So that is not going to help you for sure. So you need to change that mindset and try to change into the practicality and the surroundings, that how it is going to help you in your real life conversations. That's what my opinion
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, true. Actually, what happened in my school when I was, and you won't believe, I was taught translation in my ninth standard. Before that,
Mhm.
like first to eighth, there was nothing, nothing like translation, nothing like grammar. There was grammar, but then again, by God grace, we got really amazing teachers. Even they themselves were quite average with their things, right? Which is fine. I don't blame them. It's okay. So what happened? I was taught ta hai, ti hai, te hai. You use present indefinite. That didn't never make sense to me, and it doesn't even make sense to me ever, right? What happens? Like, but what you can do is when you talk about present indefinite, understand where it is used mostly. Where it is
Mhm.
used when you talk about your day-to-day activity. Not like Ram jata hai, Sita jati hai. No. मैं जाता हूँ, what I do every day, I wake up, I go, I brush, something like that, like subject, fundamental. So until you make the connection with that grammar concept, you will never be able to learn it. Right? So
Mhm.
I believe whenever I teach my learners, I make sure that there is a proper connection with the
Hmm.
grammar and their real life. I make them think and tell me, what do you do every day? The concept is present indefinite, but I ask them, what do you do every day? I get up, I go, I prepare dinner, I talk to my friends, I meet them, I go to college, I take class like this. So until you start, you are the center point of the language. When you say that I want to learn language, then you are the center of the language. So everything
Mhm.
is connected to you. You have to see how I can connect this particular rule with my real life, and I can imagine all the events, right? So this is
Right.
the connection, that whenever you work on your fundamentals, don't learn them as the technical subject. It's okay, we make mistakes even after mastering these 5 6 concepts. I keep making mistakes, which is fine, but what do I want to
Mhm.
say is make proper connection with the English grammar in for your real life. So yeah, this is
Exactly, of course. So as you said, I would say about I'm really thankful to my teachers. At least they taught this ta hai, te hai, ti hai. It's fine because they were not teaching and they were not aware and they were not teaching us spoken English. They were completely teaching us because in UP board you would get translation, you would get a story which you have to convert in English, right? So somewhat they were helping us to identify that where is present indefinite or where is present, like the past indefinite, so you can do it. Because I remember when I used to study in my village, so I they used to there used to be English book, and we had to convert that English paragraph into Hindi, okay, or Hindi into English, okay. This kind of reference books or books were there, so they were teaching according to that syllabus, but they were not aware that I have to speak, or in villages there is no environment of spoken English at all, and they are not aware. They've been the teachers, because they are teachers, they which even though they studied 30 years ago, 40 years ago, so at that time they used to learn. My mother told me that she learned English alphabets at 6th standard, okay. So I cannot blame her that why she is not able to do something well. So it's okay according to the time, but yeah, but at least we are working on it, which is very important for us at this moment. So yes.
great, great, great. So it also brings me to my last but not least strategy, which is make your learning fun for you. Have fun
Mhm.
with it. Again, when I say that it is a process of living a life, it is the way of living. When you see English as a language, when you see American, Britishers, Canadian, Australian, this is the way of living. So they entertain themselves in English, they cry in English, they fight in English, they do everything in English, right? But for you, when you are learning something, this is not your mother tongue, so you have to make it fun. For example, if we have homemakers here, right?
Mhm.
Start watching cooking videos in English. Just do it.
Mhm.
Just start learning what are the ingredients name, how do like there are amazing master chefs, cooks, I would say. There are amazing master
Exactly.
chefs on YouTube.
Right.
Even I used to follow them, and I used to learn English with that. I used to follow, okay, now we are going to add salt, we are going to add salt. It is going to give you, it is giving you an action as well, right? So what is salt, what are
Yes.
the spices, what are the different names? So this is what you can start. Make your learning English, like English language, fun. If I am a cricket fan, I'll better go for Virat Kohli's life. How has it been, what all he has done in his life, right? I am someone who
Mhm.
is really keen in politics, so I keep watching Palki Sharma here and there. I keep following some very amazing economists who bring some, like who try to counter the policies or political policies, and they bring their expertise on the table that this is what we think about the particular policy. So for me, that is fun. So I really want you to find something which really interests you. It could be yoga, it could be, exercises, it could be cooking, it could be dancing, it could be anything, whatever is there for you. Just better you build a connection with that particular domain and start learning in that domain only. On YouTube, you can get hundreds of videos on a specific topic in English, Hindi, Marathi, Kannada, Telugu, everything. So go for English, right? So this is my last strategy. Anything else I can tell you or I can help you, Ashutosh, to your audience, so you can ask me.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, it was wonderful. You're right. It's not all about doing something which is completely strange to you. If you like watching vlogs, watch in English. If you like watching comedy, watch in English. Maybe you will not get it in the beginning. That's pretty normal. It will take time for you to understand. But of course, just whatever you do, try to do that in English. If you watch comedy, news, or cricket commentary, mostly people listen to cricket commentary in Hindi, so better to listen in English because that will help you because you know the things in cricket at the same time you are hearing it, so that will help you that how they are expressing that the boundary goes to the four and Rohit Sharma is a classical batsman, all the way you will learn it. So because that time you are interested in it and you don't have to compel yourself a lot to go for it. So, but people think that, sir, tell me something from just which I can watch and I can learn some. I say like find your interest and watch that thing in English only. That's only. It is not important for you to watch something which I like. Maybe which I like, you are not going to like that, right? Yeah. So yeah, exactly. That's it for actually it was really nice. You gave some practical, I would say, strategies for people to become better in it. So it was really nice actually the answer I would say. So I want to say to the people, if you have such kind of questions, then you can write down in the comments below whatever the questions you have. So we would be making videos on your questions. We would be picking questions from the comments and we would be making video on that. So it would be helpful for all of you to understand that how you can learn spoken English practically. So that's what I will say. And thank you so much for joining me, Gayatri ma'am. Again, it was really nice talking to you.
Yeah, yeah, most welcome. So let's summarize all the points which we have discussed in the video
Sure.
right now, right? So the first point is have very clear agenda and goal, objective, aim, whatever you have.
Mm-hmm.
Second, immerse yourself completely in the language. You don't have any
Mm-hmm.
escapism from it, right? Start working on your fundamentals. It's really important to build the foundation which you have, right? Very
Mm-hmm.
important. And at the same time, have the proper connection when you are working on your fundamentals, right? Fourth, it's
Mm-hmm.
really important that you build connection with your real life. Like you watch something or you listen to something or you go for something which is really interesting and which aligns with your particular thing, right? This is right. Fourth. And fifth, be very strict to your time. Have a proper slot for the English language. That even if you are giving only 15 minutes, I'm saying even for 15
Mm-hmm.
minutes, but make sure that those 15 minutes should be very specific time slot. 9:15 to 9:30, 9:30 to 9:45. You have to make sure because your brain takes time to get synced with your process, and then it also automatically gives you reminders. So these are my 5 tips and I hope that people like it. And if I have forgotten something, I think we have mentioned a lot in the video, so please go through the video, you'll learn a lot. Thank you so much for having me again, Ashutosh.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you, ma'am. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye bye. Yeah, bye bye.